Have you ever woken up and you're anticipating this big event in the morning, but your face looks all bloated, your stomach feels heavy and you feel plump, and you really want to make sure this never ever happens again? There's a few things you need to do to understand bloating. Bloating is a sensation where your body inflates due to an influx of food that happens for one of two reasons. There's either excess gas stuck in your digestive system that needs to pass. You also might have extra fluid being pulled into your cells because you're having a little too much salt, and this is called fluid retention. Or you could have a little bit of both at the same time, which is far from uncommon. So in today's video, I'm going to teach you the basics of how these two processes work, so you can understand how to prevent them. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you 2 easy home remedies you can use in the morning to help you de-bloat as fast as possible. First, we're going to start with gas bloating. Before we start though, I do have to note, bloating isn't necessarily unhealthy. Your body is going to gain mass when you eat something and then lose that mass as you digest it and expend it as energy. So when you eat a lot of food, there is a certain level of bloating or stomach volume being taken up that is not avoidable. But of course, there's many things you can do to make it not dramatic and not follow you into the morning in the next day or days. The triggers for gas bloating are overeating, specific foods, and that rule of just volume. And this really happens by food not digesting well, and then bacteria creating gas via fermenting things called FODMAPs. This is what leaves you feeling tight, puffy, and gassy. Luckily for you, you could prevent this by slowing down your eating, chewing slower and chewing well, and looking into eating lower FODMAP foods. And your next question is going to be, what is a FODMAP? And these are fermentable oligosaccharides, disaccharides, monosaccharides, and polyols that are abundant in different carb and starch sources. So these high FODMAP foods would count as trigger foods, and other legumes and carbonated drinks also do this as well, also help trigger this gas bloating. And something you can do outside of your stomach is just walking around and moving around post-meal to help get everything moving. And now that you understand that, you need to understand fluid retention. This is where water kind of inflates in your cells because there's a lot more sodium than potassium. And the reason we get into these excess sodium situations is heavily processed foods like Big Macs, over-salting, restaurant foods all have so much salt, and the average person eats so little potassium that this is all too common. Obviously, if you're an athlete performing in the gym, soccer game, or some other type of sport performance, obviously more salt is going to be beneficial, so it is reliant on your activity level. But if that salt to potassium ratio is so off and you're not using that salt, it is going to cause fluid retention. One way to mitigate this is to eat or supplement enough potassium. And since the body pulls the water into your cells with abundant sodium, is to keep everything balanced. So if you drink more water, your body will dilute faster, which will then allow the extra water and salts to finally be released. And there's 2 more things you can do, which is maybe cutting back on super processed foods and over salted foods. And the same principle of just moving around after a meal is going to work as well. And before I give you that final home remedy, and something I want to backtrack to is fiber. A lot of times we hear fiber helps flush out your body, and this is true, and it does it in a couple different ways. If we're talking about gas bloating, insoluble fiber is something you don't digest, and it's actually going to help just push everything through your system faster. And as a result, those FODMAPs have less time in your gut where bacteria can then ferment with them and create gas that creates more gas bloating. So it can help be preventative in that way, and also in the release of built up gas as well. And for water retention, fiber is helpful for regulating your blood sugar and insulin, and they help your body stay regular and always be flushing out water at a healthy rate. And now that you're equipped with this knowledge, you can now understand this easy home remedy I and several other people use to help de-bloat faster if it's necessary. The first component is going to be warm water because it can have a soothing effect on your digestive tract and promote gentle movements. Lemon is a nice, tasty acidity that can help stimulate a little bit of activity in your metabolism and provide potassium to help optimize that sodium-potassium gradient. Cayenne pepper also has a compound that will boost circulation and digestion and help metabolize and get rid of the bloating faster. Then you'll put ginger in it to help relieve you of gas while soothing your digestive system, while also giving it a nice nudge to start working a little bit. And then adding a little bit of turmeric can help get rid of inflammation in your digestive system. That ginger shot can actually help you de-bloat in the mornings much faster than if you were to do nothing. And another super common home remedy to relieve cramps and bloating is just any form of tea. So you could add tea to that ginger shot. You could have a nice herbal tea. There's many things you can do. many great home remedies to get rid of the bloating effect, but one final thing I need to mention again is bloating is a natural process that always runs its course, and if you're super obsessed and just a little bit of bloating makes you really angry, you might have a problem you want to get checked out. But of course, there is times where you want to debloat fast because you're going to do something that day, and also being super bloated just kind of makes you feel puffy and slow. So it totally makes sense if you do want to use some home remedies to make it speed up a little bit faster. And if you want more health and fitness content simplified like this and given to you in an actionable way, subscribe for more.